again, Chinese medicine, I don't want to get too deep into theory and stuff like that, but yes, we can, allowing me to ask all the weird questions about like, what is your sleep like? What is your digestion like? What is your emotions like? What is aches and pains? What is family history? All these different things. This allows me to get a better picture of you versus, I don't have to do that. I could just like, what's your main complaint and go to work. But to get the way Chinese medicine works best is by differentiating what actually is happening, rather than just the broad scope. That's kind of what I want to get at.
And I don't call those the weird questions.
Yeah.
I say you're interested.
We are live, Paul.
All right, we're live. Good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday, and that means it's time for 1 Million Cups. So the first thing to do, especially if you're new here, check in, point your phone at the QR code on the screen or on these cards on the tables and chairs around you, and let the Kaufman Foundation know that this chapter of 1 Million Cups is thriving. All right, so here's our mission. It's difficult being an entrepreneur. There are many challenges. You're trying to do things that haven't been done. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you don't know. And the mission of 1 Million Cups is to make it easier for entrepreneurs to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all new and aspiring entrepreneurs all over the United States. And how do we do that? We work toward that mission through a consistent program that's given to us by the Kaufman Foundation. They train our organizers, and we in turn train our presenters. And so anywhere you go in the United States to a 1 Million Cups chapter, you'd find the format familiar. There wouldn't be any strangers, just friends you hadn't met. And you'd see the questions are largely the same. And if that person had presented here, you'd be pretty much the same talk, right? But also every community is unique. And 1 Million Cups is also a place where other entrepreneurs in the audience can connect to each other and connect to other groups that are doing fantastic things. And I'll have more to say about that at the end today because our community had a thriving week last week. Okay, so we are proud to be the #1 1 Million Cups chapter in New Mexico, and we achieved that by having a small denominator. If Las Cruces wants to start up a chapter, as they've been talking about, it's like, bring it. Okay, we'd help them out, actually. There are other great chapters scattered throughout the Southwest. You're free to go to any of those 9 a.m. on a Wednesday if you're on the road, and you can have a pretty good time. Here's our key pillars. These are presentations, not pitches. So the difference is in a pitch, there's something you want. You're talking to someone who might be an investor, they might be a customer, and you will typically put your best foot forward. You don't have a lot of time, so you're only going to talk about those great things about you and your company or your product. And then it's 3 in the morning and you're staring at the ceiling and you're worrying about the other things. And this is a place to come talk about those things, right? So in contrast to a pitch, in a 1 Million Cups presentation, you are talking about your limitations and vulnerabilities, and you're asking the community for help. That's what you're asking for. So that is a way to foster authentic connections. And in that atmosphere, you know, before and after, when you're talking to other people, we want you to foster authentic connections that'll improve your journey through entrepreneurship. So it's run for the community, by the community. All of our organizers are volunteers, and which is not to say we're masochistic altruists. Okay, some of us are, but we all get something really good out of it. And we're glad to be doing this with the community. We're also radically and intentionally inclusive. All kinds of people are welcome here, all kinds of entrepreneurs. Brick and mortar operations, hey, you know, maybe you got a push cart, even a food truck, that's good here. You might have a whiteboard company that had a little bit of outside funding for an idea, that's okay. You might be a company that's in the process of scaling, or you might have gone all the way and you're coming back to show us how that's done. All those folks are welcome here, and we try to foster a polite and educational atmosphere. So that's more about our mission, but again, this is an educational forum. So talk to people that you don't know. If they know more about something than you do, listen carefully and ask good questions. If the situation is reversed, then you're the expert there. Be patient. Take time to answer those questions and do as well as you can. And I think by doing that every week, we've turned this into a real thriving entrepreneurship community. Also, You could go all the way and apply to present. It's really easy to do. Talk to any one of our organizers and we'll talk you through the process. You drop in on the website, put up some photos and a logo and answer some simple questions and we'll get you on the schedule. We'll also coach you for your presentation because it might be quite a bit different format from talking to customers or potential investors. And we'd like you to give a 1 Million Cups talk that will get the kind of help from the community that you need. Okay, this is our organizing team. I'm Paul Sauter, founder and chief scientific officer of Equiseek. Lisa Atkins here is COO of Fat Pipe. Eric Rins Whitmore up in Santa Fe is keeping the gears lubricated. And it's a pleasure to acknowledge on this slide for the first time, Laura Jepson, will you please stand up? I know you're terribly shy, but we're here to help you with your shyness. You know, shyness and entrepreneurship, they don't mix. So get out there and mingle. All right, everyone pile on after the presentation and introduce yourself to Laura. She has wonderful stories to tell you. Okay, Danielle is also here. Keiko and Oscar are making everybody look good on film, and we still have space for organizers, right? So if you think you have something to offer the community and you'd like to do that through Million Cups, talk to Lisa and she'll tell you about the trial by ordeal that is necessary to get on
We
it.
have an official application.
That's the trial by ordeal.
We'll get him
Okay, it's also a pleasure to thank our sponsors, Fat Pipe giving us this space for free for 10 years every week. Bravo for Fat Pipe. Dry Heat Photography, Deanna is always making us look good. More Than Organized, Miriam's back there. Oh, she didn't get here early enough to be in her regular seat. Oh, she did not, but okay. But anyway, she's here to organize your stuff, your thoughts, and to provide creamer. Hey, and you're here. That's our coffee sponsor, Foundation for Sustainable Living. Let's hear it for the provider of the performance-enhancing drug of choice. And if that's not enough for you, we have Beyond Energy is also a sponsor. Noventum Custom Software that doesn't suck, also providing donuts, and Minuteman Press for all your ink on paper needs. It's a pleasure to thank all those guys. And thanks for joining us. And I'm going to hand it off to Danielle.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, I had the pleasure of coaching our presenter today. Really fascinating story, really intelligent gentleman. Lots and lots of education in here. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Andrew Moser of Sacred Patterns Acupuncture.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Andrew Moser. I'm an acupuncturist, and I got my trusty sidekick here with me today. Just before we get started, out of curiosity, by a show of hands, how many people have had acupuncture in the past? Wow, that is like almost everybody. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about my journey of becoming an acupuncturist. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the very beginning. My journey starts in St. Louis, Missouri. By the age of 1, I moved to Pennsylvania, Indiana, Oklahoma, Northern Virginia, AKA DC, and then now Albuquerque. I tell all this because the most common question that I get asked is, am I an Army brat? And the answer is, my dad is a hospital, or now retired, but he's a hospital administrator. So hospital administration, tends to be a lot of moving in that industry. And this will become important later on. Oops, yeah. Okay, so I moved here in 2003. My sophomore year, I went to Pius, graduated there, did the traditional route, went to UNM. Started off in business, but then I decided to go down photography route for a bit, learn some really valuable skills there. Eventually circled back to business, ended up graduating with the bachelor's in entrepreneurship, and UNM offered a lot of incentives to continue on. So I continued on and got my MBA. The incentives were so high that I actually got 2 MBAs, one in marketing and one in management technology. Management of technology is a commercialization of intellectual property. So the bottom left corner is an example of all the different things I did during this time period, lots of alternative energy, an innovative geotextile, and then a passion project of mine, I started a website called Beautifully Ugly. This was a interview and picture I took of the late, great Wake's Health. Some of you may have seen murals of him around town. But then the accumulation of all of these experiences helped me get my first real big boy job. Was with a company called Interpulse. They're located here in Albuquerque, over by the airport. They are the manufacturer of the Pulsar spark plug. I got hired on as a intern doing marketing type of stuff. I helped make this this ad. Alan Jr., he was our spokesman. He was a really cool guy, nice. But then throughout 6 months to a year or so, I got promoted a handful of times. Eventually, I got promoted to head of global business development for their industrial line of natural gas spark plugs. So I was selling spark plugs for these large 16, 20 cylinder engines, massive things. And I was dealing with companies, the biggest companies in the world, in essence. And there was a business we were working with in the UK, doing 2 years of field trials with them. And right at the end, when they were about to sign the contract with us, they got bought out by a larger business, and then they put all projects on stop. And so that dried up all of our cash flow. So nearly all of us got laid off at that point. And I did a lot of soul searching at that point of what do I want to do? Like, I mean, I kept changing like projects every couple years, and it was reinventing myself, and it was really draining. So during this time period, I started coming to 1 Million Cups, along with lots of other things. I didn't officially, but I started a business called New Mexico Business Consultants, to try and be a consultant to help with business development for businesses of similar paths that I've done. There was a company over here, Buckle Down Systems, John, I haven't seen him in a while, but he was the individual that I was trying to work with back then as an example. And again, I did a lot of soul searching during this time period. And this might sound a little woo-woo, but I reached out to a psychic and I did a life purpose reading. And I was told that I was meant to be a healer. And I like the way that she phrased that, healer, very broad. I grew up in Western medicine, so circling back. My mom's also an RN. I know the volatility of Western medicine and everything that holds. And it wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted. And with all my alternative energy type of projects I did in the past, I was always drawn to energy. And I didn't know anything about Chinese medicine, but this idea of qi and needles and things like that, I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And when I was in school, originally in school, I like purposely avoided all the hard sciences, like purposely. And so knowing that I'm gonna have to be taking a bunch of biology and chemistry and things like that, anatomy and physiology, it was very daunting. So I was like, I gotta prove this to myself first. So I went to CNM to prove this to myself, and I kept passing my classes. And at 2 years of pre-med there, I eventually transferred to Southwest Acupuncture College, SWAC. Some of you may be familiar with them. They had a campus here in Albuquerque. I think they closed 2017-ish, the campus here. They had a campus still up in Santa Fe. And so this is an image of the latest campus or last campus. So my time at SWAC was awesome. It was like a mix of like hardcore medical school mixed with Hogwarts, and it was completely like magical. I mean, it was awesome. But unfortunately, halfway through my second semester, COVID happened. So we went online, did Zoom for about a year or so, and it was Chinese medicine is very tactile medicine, and you can't really. You can only do so much online. So we eventually went back, and about during my second year or so, the administration came to us and announced to us that the school is going to be closing, unfortunately. And so we were fortunate enough to be able to get a 2-year teach out. So My class got to be the final class to graduate. This is a real, like, this is real detriment in a lot of ways because that means there's no longer an acupuncture school in the state of New Mexico. They also had a branch in Colorado and Boulder. So that means that Colorado only has one school left now. Schools are closing all over. It's sad. But fortunately, we made it through. We pushed through. There were 7 of us in my class. This is a picture of our white coat ceremony. My diploma. This was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of love into this process. Getting out of school was just the first start of it. There are 5 boards to be able to become an acupuncturist, much more than many other professions. The 4 national boards are in biomed, acupuncture, theory, and herbal medicine. I've passed all those. I am nationally board certified. And the state board is next month. So I've been granted an externship license to be able to practice underneath a supervisor. So since March, I've officially been seeing patients. My office is located off of Monroe and Lomas, right next to Los Cuates. If any of you are familiar with that. So the next closest intersection is San Mateo and Lomas. Sprouts is right there. Picture of the front of the office, entranceway, hallway, the treatment room. It's a super nice building. There's 3 of us there. We are all acupuncturists. It's a true acupuncture clinic. So what are the modalities that I use? Some of these, since some of you have had acupuncture, you may be familiar with all this. I use moxibustion, which is mugwort that we burn on or over the person to help supplement the fire energies of the person. Body work, cupping, gua sha, tuina, which is Chinese massage, scraping, all those different body work modalities I do. The style of practitioner I am a traditional Chinese medical practitioner, TCM, as well as esoteric. Briefly uses sacred geometry and acupuncture to treat chakras and the aura of the person. So this helps me provide like all aspects of the person in my mind to be able to treat them. And then of course, I'm an herbalist. So I love herbs, all types. Where am I today? Some of the advantages that I have, my supervisor has been a sweetheart in many ways, and he doesn't charge me rent currently. But once I am up and going officially, his rate is very modest. So that's very kind of him. Again, there's 2 other acupuncturists in the clinic. They're a different style of acupuncturists, but they're still acupuncturists, and I get to communicate with them. And there's room for growth there. Challenges. Marketing funds in general are tight. I don't have a huge patient list. And I go back and forth whether this is a limitation or not, but in essence, I only accept self-pay patients. So insurance is a whole other conversation. Leave that for another time. So who are my target demographics? Chinese medicine, we can treat almost everything. We have our limitations. But we treat a large array of things. So that's awesome, but then that's also like almost too much. And so my job now is like, who do I really focus on? And through conversations I've had here, some of the feedback that I've gotten is like, maybe like the 55 and up independent living groups are probably some of the biggest focus for me, if you will. And as of lately, I've actually found some traction with that. I've gone around, a couple weeks ago, I stopped by the Albuquerque Grand Senior Living, which is off of MLK, right by UNM. Walked in there, found out that they have in-house healthcare coming up next week, and they were super excited that I came in. And then I stopped by the Wood Markets in Uptown, very nice facility. I will be giving a presentation there next week. So I've been out, this is just a snippet, it's a tip of the iceberg. And so my question, how can 1 Million Cups help me today? A couple different things. One, you could be a patient. Have you ever considered, I mean, do you have any issues? Two, do you know anybody that has, could be potentially benefit from acupuncture? Three, do you know of any like speaking engagements or groups that might take an interest in hearing from someone like me? And other suggestions of how to garner new patients? And to be completely honest, I mean, like tips on trying to keep my head afloat during this growth stage. Like I went to school, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I don't really want to spread myself too thin, but any suggestions would be awesome. And yeah, we treat much more than just pain. Most people think of acupuncture just for pain. Any most internal medical conditions, psycho-emotional, the typical saying mind, body, spirit, we are a complete medicine. So that is something that we offer. And the last thing I'll leave you with, the common saying in Chinese medicine, if there's free flow, there is no pain. If there is no free flow, there is pain. Today I've shared my pain and my restriction points, and I'm here to ask for your help in helping my pain to help your pain and help the pain of others. So thank you, and I'll open up the floor for questions.
I have a question in the form line right over here, and I'll also take questions online.
I'll do the Paul thing and demonstrate how to use the microphone. So introduce yourself first and hold it up here. So I'm Danielle with Conscious Crossroads End of Life Services, I'm an end of life guide and death doula. So I have a few questions. I guess one only question is, will you come out and see clients for me at end of life to help with pain, anxiety, things like that? Is that something that you can do?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. So question, can I travel and see patients at home or out of office? Currently with my externship license, I can only practice with my supervisor and on premise. So after next month, knock on wood, when I'm fully a doctor of oriental medicine, then I can practice anywhere in the state of New Mexico. And yes, and then I can't, that traveling or treating at home is an option for me.
Well, thank you for that. And also thank you for looping Brooke and I in on that health fair at Albuquerque Grand. We're looking forward to that. And then just a comment, when I was in the hospital for about 3 months, ICU for a lot of that, I didn't sleep for an extended period of time. Sometimes it would be days on end. The beeps, the noise, the monitors, all the stuff. And the hospital I was in had an alternative health department. So they actually offered Reiki and acupuncture. As an ER nurse myself, I was very Western medicine and thought this was all completely woo-woo out there, whatever. Had acupuncture done and I would fall asleep instantly. And it would be the first time I would sleep for days. And so my husband would literally like stand outside my room like a bouncer, you know, and like not let anybody in because I had finally fallen asleep. And that's what changed my mind on all of this. And so thank you very much for doing it. You would talk when we were coaching, you talked about trying to be a bridge between Western medicine and alternative or complementary medicine. Can you speak to that a little?
Sure. Thanks. Yeah, sure. So as my background speaks, I mean, I've got lots of business background, lots of probably too much education, to be honest, but I can speak the language of like Western medicine, and I'm just a regular guy. So I feel like that I can communicate. I have both languages of the everyday person and Chinese medicine. I can get as woo-woo and as scientific as you want, and I can get as straight to the point as you want to be. And so I'm here just trying to be that conduit.
Sue, can I take one online? Sue, you have a question? Can you share your question?
Yes, good morning. And Dr. Moser, I've had a lot of acupuncture and Chinese medicine in my life, as have my pets. They go to an acupuncturist. I was wondering how you market yourself and would it make sense to possibly align yourself with others who are targeting the 55 plus community? like a fitness trainer, or I'm a nutrition coach, and I find that they are like a sponge. They really want the input and the help.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I am, one of my goals throughout this process is not to be an island. And we all tend, I mean, most practitioners, the goal is to fulfill and build your practice. And once your practice is full, then life is good. I have been going out and introducing myself all over town. This health fair thing that I've got, that I found out about, I went out and I went and invited all the practitioners that I thought that would be a good fit there to include them in to try and build that network. I've had lots of conversations at various like health fair events with dietitians, PTs, people the like, and I get lots of really good, like, oh man, I've got lots of people that I think would benefit from this, and I don't get any follow-up. It's just, I think it's a numbers game. Just keep trying, and I think someone out there will see the bigger picture.
Okay. I'd say be persistent.
Hi, Dr. Moser. I'm JP. I'm developing a wellness product for my new business. And we had a brief conversation last time, and I was really kind of stunned to come in this morning and see you presenting in a great way, because it's like I really needed to hear what you had to share. And your life story is really amazing and interesting, the variety of things that you did to kind of bring you back into wellness. I had two questions. And one was breaking the barrier of the Western conservative consciousness with integrating Oriental medicine, because it's a whole different modality and paradigm. And how do you navigate that?
Thank you for the question. First thing is, I mean, trying to talk to as many people as I possibly can. Oftentimes we can sort of seem like psychics, because someone will be like, oh, I've got this going on, and then that'll trigger like a diagnosis train of thoughts. And so I start asking questions along that line, and they're like, how did you know that? How did you know that? How did you know that? And I start to seem really like a psychic. So those type of conversations break the ice, and people are like, wow, there might be something really more to this than just what I've been known to. And then fortunately, there's a slew of practitioners that an army of practitioners that have been before me that have done a lot of the education process. So I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I try to continue to help that momentum of education, of going out to, again, these speaking engagements are different ways. When I was at mechanic, at my mechanic, I gave them my card. I mean, so anyone and everyone, person walking down the street, I mean, I'm trying to spark up conversations anywhere that I can.
Cool. That's quite a challenge, engaging with it. In business, they call cold calls.
Yep.
To try to like break that ice. And so I applaud you for being able to do that. One more of my questions is the sacred geometry and the implementation of that. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole in the late 70s, early 80s, and kind of the new age movement. And now it's kind of been renamed in kind of quantum physics with consciousness. And we really have we have more understanding of what's going on in the fields of energy that we can't see or really perceive. And so the sacred geometry goes way back. It's not like a new invention. So how did you learn about that, and how do you implement that into your work?
Great. Thank you for the question. Just to keep it really simple, why I use the sacred geometry that I use. And the title of my practice is Sacred Patterns Acupuncture. Everything I'm doing is diagnosing patterns and treating patterns, and the treatments create patterns on the person. It is also a bringing of the past to the present. that echoing of the patterns from the past to the present. And it just looks cool.
All right, thank you, appreciate that. Good luck with everything.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Hello, Miriam Ortiz Pino, More Than Organized. Bringing it back to the marketing thing.
Mhm.
I love that you've been exploring your niche and that you've gotten some real positive feedback from the retirement centers or the, what are they called these days? The old age places. And I think what I've noticed is a lot of times people spend too much time monkeying around with the niche, like, oh, I don't know, I should do more research. Just go with it. Because when you have a niche, that's just about who you talk to and your messaging and where you bring your message to your vision. And it doesn't keep you from working with anyone else you meet along the way. So when you're working with older people, you're going to meet their families. You're going to go ahead and hand your card and have a conversation with the mechanic. But all your focus gets to be on that niche. And that's what can really grow the thing. And then you just have to reevaluate it every few years to see if you're still interested in it or if you become uninterested before that time frame. But it'll keep you focused.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this journey has just been like throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And I have, different draws, but the retirement community has been the one that has been the biggest draw so far. I'm not going to limit myself, but yes, I think, energy, time, efforts is a limited resource. So let's put it towards what has the biggest movement. So that's what I'm working on. Thank you.
Hi, Andrew. I'm Brooke Netting with Deaf Doula Professionals. I have an opportunity for you to present at. So the 50+ Expo for prime time in October. That's a really good one. And then my question for you is, do you do pulse diagnosis or how do you get people into your space to talk to them?
Sure. Yeah, thank you. I didn't really want to go down the rabbit hole of diagnosis. I mean, there's lots of different ways that styles of acupuncture, but yeah, traditional Chinese medicine does pulse diagnosis, and we look at your tongue. So it might feel weird, look weird. And then if there's aches and pains, I'll palpate the channels of the area to feel where the pain is at. And the second part of the question was,
What do you do to get people into your station or booth when you're there working with people?
yeah, I haven't actually had a booth yet, to be honest. I've just been one among the crowd and going around and trying to rub shoulders with as many people as possible and do as many introductions. So I imagine, I've done booths in the past. I think things like my trusty assistant here, it is a eye catcher for many people, and they're like, oh, acupuncture. I've got this going on, and they're just sort of pulling that thread. So, it could be, and like how I started this conversation off, like, have you ever had acupuncture before? That seems to be a easiest ice opener.
Thank you.
Morning.
Hi there.
Good to hear you present.
Appreciate
I
it.
haven't spoken in person. I'm Barbara Dawson with Purple Mulch. And I was shocked when you asked how many have had acupuncture, and almost everybody in the room raised their hand. Did that surprise you?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question for you is, we've all had an acupuncturist in our life. What makes you unique? What is the thing that you bring to your treatments that most other acupuncturists don't?
Question. Thank you. Again, it depends on a different style, different practitioners. Some practices they see 20 to 50 patients a day. And I am the opposite. I like my treatments to be an hour, hour and a half, probably more an hour and a half. I really like that one-on-one time. I dive deep into the questions about all the weird aspects of ourselves, and that helps paint a better picture of me. Western interactions are maybe 15 minutes, so I'm quite a bit more than that. As far as other acupuncturists, I do herbs. Not every practitioner does herbs. I do esoteric acupuncture, which not every practitioner does. And I mean, probably the other thing would, the unintangible thing is I'm the last graduate from SWAC. I am the last homegrown acupuncturist here. So, I mean, lots of other acupuncturists, most of them here in town are booked or have a long waiting list. So I am still in that growth stage right now. And so if someone wants a long-term practitioner that isn't hard to get a hold and set an appointment with, then that would be me.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that what makes you unique is the benefit to me, the patient, is when I go into your practice, I'm going to get your full attention for an extended period of time, so you can dive deep into the issues that may be creating the physical things going on with me. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, Chinese medicine, I don't want to get too deep into theory and stuff like that, but yes, we can, allowing me to ask all the weird questions about like, what is your sleep like? What is your digestion like? What is your emotions like? What is aches and pains? What is family history? All these different things. This allows me to get a better picture of you versus, I mean, I don't have to do that. I could just like, what's your main complaint and go to work. But to get the way Chinese medicine works best is by differentiating what actually is happening, rather than just a broad scope. That's, I don't really want to get into details.
And I don't call those the weird questions.
Yeah.
I say you're interested.
But you're weird.
I appreciate that. I tell myself that all the time.
Morning, Clifton Chadwick, Comunicaciones, Cocopelli. Somebody said be persistent. So a couple of things. You've made a lot of calls and you haven't gotten any many calls back yet. So keep calling. We've got so many things happening. Just keep calling, Be very polite, just say, hey, just checking in. This is what I do. Just checking in. I know you're busy. I know you got a life. I know you got priorities. But I also know one of these days I'm going to call and you're going to say, I was just thinking of you. And I can't tell you over the time how often that happens. So just make sure you're not leaving a bad impression, because we got so much going on. And honestly, somebody will say, I was just thinking about you one day. Secondly, is there a group? Is there a professional trade association? And you're already hooking up with them. And is it reasonable to ask any of those guys if their practice is so full that they're beginning to refer people?
Yeah, so along this journey of, I'm not just going to like Western practitioners, I've also been going out and trying to introduce myself to other acupuncturists to try and be a part of the community. And I've had one referral sent over. It can happen, but I feel like a lot of them is like, oh, my precious. So, I mean, yes, it's that numbers game, it's that persistence, it's being in front of them. I mean, and acupuncture is one of those things of word of mouth. Like, I help enough people, they're going to tell all their friends and family, and the practice will be full. And a lot of times, I mean, people hold on to cards and like, oh, that ache and pain comes a year or two later. Oh, magically that card is found. Yes, it's bridging that gap between now and then.
I just say, keep calling, because, nothing is top of mind awareness, and you can only keep it by repetition. So.
Thank you.
Last question.
Last question.
It better be a good one then. Franklin Wilson, farmer, other entrepreneur. Two questions. Why do you believe the schools are closing? And when you start with a patient.
Mhm.
Do you recommend, or do you have a program for repeat visits? Or a plan?
Yeah. Thank you for that. The school closures is a multifaceted thing. Accreditation is like $1 million plus each year to stay accredited. Number of students attending, et cetera. A lot of these schools have got investors that have had acupuncture in the past that healed them, that saved their lives in essence. And they believed in the medicine and they funded the schools, and unfortunately, a number of them have passed away or something like that. So those funding sources went away. COVID didn't help anything. Various legislation at the federal level doesn't help things. It's a multifaceted thing. As far as like trying to get patients, yes, that is, I've had this conversation with others. The one and dones aren't, I mean, those are great, but also not ideal. I'd rather have someone be a patient for life or a super long period of time. In essence, I mean, if I fix that shoulder in one treatment, they may or may not want to come back. But I mean, ultimately, I try and build that level of confidence that, hey, there's probably more things besides that shoulder that we can work on. And just try and each time I see them, put everything I can into that treatment so that they want to come back. It's not, I don't sell packages. I don't like doing that type of stuff because it just creates headaches and things they'll like later on. So I try and put my everything into them during that time so that they want to come back and see me is how I answer that.
One follow-up to that is, once you're tuned up and your pain's gone, do you recommend a frequency for tune-ups?
I mean, yes, I mean, acupuncture is great. It's way easier to prevent a disease than to try and heal a disease. So regular treatments are awesome. The more often that one can get acupuncture, the better. If it's ideally once a week, but I see patients once a month and anywhere in between there. So that would be the ideal, somewhere in that time frame.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the opportunity. This was awesome.
Two final questions. So what is the one thing that this community can do for you today, right now?
I've got brochures up here. Please take them with you. Talk to me afterwards if you have an interest in scheduling an appointment. If not, share my information with your friends and family.
Okay, and then the New Mexico State question, red or green?
Definitely green, but red on lots of other yummy things, so both, but primarily green.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. Awesome.
I'm gonna invite Laura up. She's from Global Ties. Come over here so they can see you on camera. She's gonna introduce Global Ties briefly, and then we have some guests from various countries. And then anybody else who's new, we want you to come up after them. Give us your name, what your business is, how you heard about 1 Million Cups, okay? Don't be shy, we're very friendly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melora Palmer. I'm Executive Director of Global Ties ABQ. Thank you so much to Lisa and Paul and your whole team. We've been able to bring some of our guests in times 2 Million Cups. It's just a great organization and super supportive of us. Just a little bit on Global Ties ABQ. We are a local nonprofit, but part of the network of community-based members that host U.S. State Department professional exchange programs. So I'm very happy today. We have 4 fellows that are with us for 4 weeks from various different countries. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We have Vera, Ines, Alec, and Tamta. I'll ask you to come up. I'll let them deal with their last names because I have nothing. And they are with the young innovative, young transatlantic innovative leadership initiative. So these are all young professionals that have started their own organizations and enterprises, all in super innovative ideas, and they come to the US to exchange with other professionals, kind of learn about our market, but also just how they can develop their own markets, et cetera. So I'm going to invite them all up to introduce themselves and talk a bit about what they do. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for hosting us.
Yeah. Should I wait for everyone to come up, maybe?
You guys can.
So we can easily pass on the microphone. Say hi, everyone. Good to be in Albuquerque. Good to see you all. Great presentation. I've never tried acupuncture before, so maybe I'll give it a shot. I'm here for months, so. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Vera. I'm the founder and CEO of My Culture. And I don't know about you, but I love art and visiting museums, but keeping up to date with changing exhibitions is really difficult. So I wanted to find a solution that would make it fast and easy to find and book relevant exhibitions. So what we've done is we've developed a mobile app that's like Netflix for art, where you receive personalized recommendations for exhibitions based on your interests. If you're interested in bringing this to Albuquerque, let me know. I would love to talk to you if you're a regular museum visitor to find out, okay, what's the museum landscape here? How often do we visit museums? What's missing? What's cool? And yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on the microphone this way and then move along. And yeah, happy to talk to you all. And yeah, thanks for having us. I'm from Austria. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Alexander Dimeski. I come from North Macedonia. I'm a fellow here at Sandia National Lab. What I do is we develop next generation of concentrated solar power. That's complicated, but what it is, in essence, is like a huge area of very precise computer-guided mirrors that have the task to reflect the sun at the top of a tower, where you basically have the magnifying glass effect, where the top of the tower is really hot, and you use that heat as it is used in a standard coal-fire power plant or like natural gas power plant. But the thing is that using heat is really cheap to store. And basically what we try to solve is the intermittency of the renewable energy sources. Basically, wind and solar are very intermittent, and they don't produce when there is no wind or no sun. Basically, what we do is we use the heat to store and be as a nuclear power plant, but just provide a stable load. I hope I didn't confuse it. You can ask a question in the end. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Tamta. Surname is Guelesiani. And I'm from Georgia, the country, from Tbilisi. I'm a co-founder and director of business development of the company called Clevertone. We are one of the biggest providers of the pre-acceleration programs and entrepreneur supporting programs in Georgia. So my main field is to support small and medium businesses and the tech startups in Georgia. So we're doing really great work there. We already supported more than 1,000 entrepreneurs there all around Georgia. So my main and great motivation here is to find some partners and build some partnerships with the local organizations and maybe be involved in development of both countries' entrepreneurial systems and maybe bring some experience from USA to Georgia, because we are a small country with the great motivation and great keen to be more innovative and technological development. So that's my pleasure to be here. And thank you for having us here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Enes from Kosovo, a very tiny country with 2 million people. Here, I'll be staying for 4 weeks at CNM Ingenuity, which is basically a nonprofit supporting entrepreneurs and workforce trainings. My activity in Kosovo is pretty much the same. We do also run an innovation hub that offers entrepreneurship programs with flagship on incubator programs. So we have most entrepreneurs grow and scale up their businesses. We'd also offer some digital transformation services, including software development, and then also training programs on digital skills to help the unemployed or underemployed people join the job market. It's our pleasure to be here and hope to also find some time and meet people with similar interests more and more, and bring some US culture to our country too. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for them? Just stand up and we'd love to ask, but I guess we'll ask all of you. Have you yet decided if you're red or green?
I've always been green.
Do you know what it is?
No.
Oh,
No,
so it's.
we don't know what it is.
Yes. Almost have not introduced you yet, but it's chili.
I'm Christmas on the side.
Yes. We'll try that.
I guess my favorite color is green, so
Oh,
I was always green, so let's be the green one. And I will see.
So you guys will stick around so they can ask their
Yeah.
questions, so you're awesome. I
Thank
hope
you.
Everybody that works with them today. Anybody else new? Yeah, give them a round of applause. Thank you. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Greg Briscom. I have a couple small businesses. One is Win-Win Properties. We rent out property in Santa Fe. And also, I have an online book arbitrage business. So we buy books on Amazon and eBay and sell them in season on Amazon. And the bottleneck there is we're always looking for more books. In particular, used textbooks. So if you know where to get used textbooks that are the latest edition, let me know. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Susan Shaw. I'm a former entrepreneur. I had a health coaching business called Arabesque Health, and I'm now in the nonprofit sector with the local United Way. And I was really interested in attending today to learn more about what's going on in the community. And I'm also really interested in making more connections to learn how our organization might be able to pair small businesses and entrepreneurs with community engagement opportunities, both to make more connections and just to be a part of uplifting our community. So thanks for having me.
We're always looking for presenters, so. All right, I have a couple of events to share, I think. If anybody wants a list of these events, because there are some active links in here, just email me at lisa@fatpipebq and I'd be happy to send them. So NMTC's wine event to celebrate with the Women in Tech honorees is May 9th from 4:30 to 7. They also have a lot of other interesting peer groups. If you're interested in joining some of their peer groups, please check out their website. Our friends, Brooke and Danielle, oh no, wait, this is Will's workshop. What is data science? So he has 2 days where he's going to open up people to come in and talk to him about data science. He's going to give a presentation in our conference room here. And so if you'd like to register for either of those, there are links to register. And Will's here. Will, raise your hand if you want to. Anybody has questions, you can meet with him after. Mexico Angels has a crowdfunding for beginners class, which sounds fun. And Paul, is that online? May 16th from 4 to 5:15. I think it is online via Zoom. So you can register for that. Founder Syndicate and Activate NM are joining forces together for the Mentor Mashup. And that'll be at UN 17. If you haven't been to UN 17 yet, it's a really cool place. It's like a private club, speakeasy sort of place. Activate NM has their inaugural space fiesta at the rail yards in June. And then our friends at Catharsis Media, of course, you see a camera here weekly. They are recording. You can watch your videos online on channel 96, or also via the web. And she did ask me to announce that they like to do little snippets. So if you would like to get in front of camera and tell her, why do you come to 1 Million Cups? Or if you've presented here, what has it done for your organization? She would love to get a short interview with you. And they do that weekly. We just hardly ever announce that piece. Anybody else have an announcement they want to?
Hello, I'm Deanna Vincent with Dry Heat Photography, and I'm also Director of Marketing for a business networking group called Roadrunner Business Networking, and it's pretty well known. Some of you may have heard of it. We've had a lot of crossover with people from that group presenting here and vice versa. But anyway, they are having a Visitors Day on Thursday, June 6th at Jimmy's Cafe from 11:30 to 1. And it's free. So if you want to come by and check it out and do some networking, meet some new people and see if that might be a good fit for you, everyone is welcome to attend. June 6th, 11:30, Jimmy's Cafe.
Sorry, I forgot your open house. You started it. I know, I started it, and then I went further down.
Hello again. You guys had a lot of me this morning. Danielle with Conscious Crossroads End of Life Services, and
Brooke Nutting with Death Doula Professionals.
so you've heard a lot about it, but this Friday is our open house. So we're really excited. We have a brick and mortar. We've got some great space. We're going to be doing door prizes every hour. At the bottom of the hour, I put together some really pretty self-care gift baskets. Self-care is really important, especially when you're taking care of others. So we'll be giving those away. We'll have some refreshments and things. So come by and see us. We would really appreciate it. The address is here. We're on Moon and Indian School in between Wyoming and Eubank. So we'd love to see you guys.
You may have seen us walking with 2 boxes of plants. So they're in the back by the coffee and donuts. You can't eat them immediately. You have to spend a few months nurturing them, caring for them. But there will be food in them. There's lots of tomatoes, about 6 different varieties of tomatoes, and 2 or 3 varieties of chilies. So they need to get in the ground. So please take them with you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Oh, hi. Well, come on up.
Hello, everyone. Just a quick note and plug for my event on Friday. Essentially, it's about data science, but it's also about how you can leverage data to improve your business, whether that's operations or outcomes in terms of, cost reduction and the like. So if you have customers and you're in business and you collect data on them, I can almost guarantee you I can help you generate some additional business insights. Data science is a lot like medicine. There are all kinds of specializations and all kinds of special applications for a myriad of different problems. So I invite you to come Friday. We're going to have another event on the 23rd, and I look forward to meeting you and working with you. Thanks.
Well, I have a personal announcement. I'm a grandma. Little Oliver Mac Benson was born on Saturday afternoon about 3.
Well, Lisa, thanks so much about sharing the news about your startup. All right, every time when I close, I tell you to go out and have a great week. Who had a great week last week? All right, everybody who went to the rainforest on Thursday for the pitch competition, raise your hand. I saw a bunch of people there, right? And you remember last week I said, I don't know how they're going to do it, because the idea was a faculty-student partnership that forms a business that gets on the path to commercialization within a year. And I'm a recovering academic, so I know that most of them have never run a lemonade stand. So this is a pretty heavy lift. And I was pleasantly surprised when the first person I talked to, who I know because he applied for CEO of Equity, but it wasn't a match, we're still on good terms, was part of the team that did it. And what happened is these guys that had been at the university working on an orthopedic implant for years with funding, it implants and cadavers, all this stuff. They just wouldn't push the button and start a company. And he was consulting with them and he finally said, look, you either start a company and get this 200K from these guys because you're a cinch, or I'm out. So they overcame their shyness and they got 200K plus the extra 10K for winning the competition. Bravo, right? And it's also great to work the room at that event. So it's always worth going, even if you're not curious about who's going to win the pitch competition. And who went to the CNM Ingenuity Speed Mentoring thing at Q Station on Friday? Yes, I went as a mentee, not as a mentor. I still have things to learn, right? So everybody who went to those, I mean, it was like Million Cups on Thursday. I'm looking around, there's like 8 of us there from Million Cups. So we formed a little pod. I'm like, okay, go talk to other people that you don't know. Right. So when these events come up, you know, even if what's being presented isn't really the core of your needs right now, working the room is priceless. I mean, you're going to meet all kinds of people. It's an opportunity to introduce people. And I have my angel wings on, and we did some key introductions there. So you can talk to me about that later. So have a great week going forward. Go see Danielle and Brooke on Friday. I mean, from slides to brick and mortar, this is what we want to celebrate in our community. So have a great week lifting up entrepreneurship, and I'll see you next Wednesday.